Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention. We're about to get proceedings underway, so those of you who aren't in your seats, please move there as soon as possible. And I'd now like everyone to be upstanding for the arrival of Lieutenant Governor, His Excellency, the Honourable Alan Blow, AO. Please be seated. It's with great pleasure that I introduce the official party, Commodore Richard Bevan from the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania, Commodore Arthur Lane, Cruising Yacht Club of Australia, Mr. Benoit Folletti, the Managing Director of Rolex Australia, Minister Nick Street, representing the Premier and the Tasmanian Government, Minister for Sport and Recreation, Minister for Stadia and Events, Councillor John Kelly, representing the Lord Mayor and the City of Hobart, and of course His Excellency the Honourable Alan Blow, AO, Lieutenant Governor of Tasmania. Welcome to the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race 2023 trophy presentation, everyone. And at the outset, I would like to acknowledge the former RYCT Commodore Tracy Matthews, who is the mastermind of this presentation today, but she's been struck down by COVID. But she is watching on live stream, so we send our very best. There are 10 yachts still at sea, several about to finish, and Ollie is still 235 miles from Hobart. Yes, Sylph 6, the last boat, is just on the northeast coast, 235 miles from the finish, and a representative of Ollie and Sylph 6 is here today, one of the owners of the boat, Ada Senna, so a big welcome. I hope you have a good supply of cat food. I'd now like to invite His Excellency to present the trophies and also to provide an official welcome. His Excellency, the Honourable Alan Blow, AO, Lieutenant Governor of Tasmania.
Well, thank you, Gordon. I begin by paying my respects to the traditional and original owners of this land, the Palawa people. I acknowledge the contemporary Tasmanian Aboriginal community and recognise their continued connection to land, sea and waters. It's a pleasure and a privilege for me as Lieutenant Governor to be part of this presentation for the 78th Sydney to Hobart, organised by the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia with the cooperation of the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania. Each year this great race is a testament to individual skill, determination and indeed bravery. But above all, it's the spirit of camaraderie that rides with you and makes this such an unforgettable event at the end of each year. The huge Sydney send-off and the equally huge crowds here to greet you are ample proof of that. So well done to all you competitors, and I believe that covers over 1,000 sailors. Inasmuch as this is a world-famous sporting event, it's always worth us remembering that there's more to this event than mere competition. The Cruising Yacht Club of Australia has influenced the world in race communications and sea safety, maintaining the highest standards for race entry. And on behalf of the Tasmanian community, and particularly all participants and spectators, I heartily thank the individual organisers, volunteers and staff who have once again put in a great effort this year. I mentioned this being the 78th running of the Sydney to Hobart. The inaugural event was in 1945, and that was arranged almost by chance amongst a small group of friends. But apart from the number 78, another number that I think we must all appreciate today is the number 50. Competitor Lindsay May, who I believe is here somewhere, navigator aboard Antipodes, has this year become the first sailor in the race's history to complete 50 consecutive races, his first being in 1973. Antipodes was 13th across the line, arriving on Saturday evening, so congratulations to Lindsay. At the 1973 presentation ceremony, the then Governor, Sir Stanley Burbury, said this: "It is a very happy coincidence for me that within a month of becoming Governor of this state, I find myself officially associated with this great ocean yacht race." End of quote. So that particular race was a first for both Lindsay and Sir Stanley, who went on to say in his 1973 Governor's speech that royal patronage of yachting events was in accordance with a long tradition. And by that he wasn't talking about 1945, he was referring to the first race in British waters between King Charles II's boat Catherine and the Duke of York's boat Anne, and that was in 1661. Historians will know that's the year after the restoration of the monarchy. Before that, England was in the hands of the Puritans, and I doubt they would have allowed yacht racing. Now in 2023, we've witnessed one of the most intense and agonising duels for line honours in the 78-year history of the Sydney Hobart, with Law Connect beating Andu Comanche by just 51 seconds, a drifting boat length, after the lead changed 7 or 8 times between Long Beach and the finish line, and that after more than 600 nautical miles of unpredictable open ocean weather, including wild thunderstorms as they raced and duelled down the east coast. In 1982, of course, Condor beat Apollo by 7 seconds, half a boat length, and that remains the closest finish. The sailing time then was 3 days and 1 hour, as opposed to Law Connect and Comanche this year taking just over half of that, 1 day and 19 hours. Many congratulations to the Law Connect skipper, Christian Beck, for achieving your inaugural line honours win, and with it the John H. Illingworth Challenge Cup. As the waterside live commentator Peter Shipway said of Christian and his crew, they're all drinking champagne now after 3 years of flat beer. And commiserations, but well done, to multiple line honours winner Comanche, skippered this year by John Winning Jr. Congratulations to the crew and members of both boats. And I extend my congratulations to every competitor in the 2023 Rolex Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race. Finally, I offer many congratulations to the skipper and crew of Tasmanian Yacht Alive, being awarded the Tassel Cup as overall winner on IRC Racing Corrected Time. Tasmanian boats seldom achieve the main prize. That Alive has done it twice now, the first being in 2018, is a great credit to the boat and the crews. Brilliant work, Skipper Duncan Hine and crew, coming in as the fourth boat and taking out the top award for 2023. So a round of applause for them too. Alive is the second Tasmanian boat to win the Tattersall Cup twice. Westwood won it in 1947 and 48. Thank you, Rolex, sponsor of the race since 2002. We salute you for maintaining this Blue Water Classic as one of the world's most challenging and finest ocean races. And now I look forward to presenting some trophies. Thank you.
Your Excellency, before we present the trophies, a special welcome from the sailors' point of view now by the Commodore of the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania, Richard Bevan. The RYCT is the finishing partner for the race, and I think you'll agree the volunteers do a magnificent job. So please welcome the Commodore of the RYCT, Richard Bevan.
Your Excellency, sailors, volunteers, members, friends and families. In late July 1945, a letter was received from the newly formed Cruising Yacht Club of Australia informing of the intention to conduct a yacht race terminating in Hobart, including a request for cooperation to manage the finish of the race. A response was issued from the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania on the 1st of August 1945, stating, "This news gladdens our hearts, and we will be most happy to cooperate in any way desired. We will certainly take care of the ships and their people upon arrival." And so the enduring relationship between the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania and the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia began. On behalf of the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania, I welcome you here today for the official trophy presentation for the 2023 Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race, the 78th edition of the great race. From Rani to Law Connect and Alive, from Captain John Illingworth to Christian Beck and Duncan Hine. We've come such a long way over 78 editions, but the race maintains its origins, the spirit of adventure, courage and challenge. Congratulations and thank you to all the owners, skippers, crews and their supporters. We love following your stories, your motivations and your aspirations, from the largest supermaxis to the smallest yachts in the fleet. What a varied race and interesting race it has been this year. A navigator's nightmare coping with weather models showing very different forecasts. And what a fantastic finish for line honours. A daylight finish with the two leading boats finishing less than a minute apart after a mighty tussle battling the vagaries of the River Derwent. And to note that we still have a handful of hardy competitors and a cat at sea, so we wish them safe sailing and a successful finish for their races. I'd like to recognise the dedication and passion of our volunteers who work around the clock and without whom this event would not happen. Thank you to Lee Goddard and the race committee, Mick Hocking and the patrol boat crews, Luke Hegarty and the radio room operators, Peter Holmes and the finishing box team, Peter and Judy Martin at the Liaison Centre, the Glenorchy Rotary Club for handling the baggage, and the radio relay vessel JBW along with the Young Endeavour. Thank you also to the international jury and the media teams and crews for taking our story to the world. Thanks also to the staff of both the RYCT and CYCA under the guidance of Sue Ball and Justine Kirchen respectively. Your teams worked tirelessly over many months to ensure the delivery of another world-class event. To our local sponsors and stakeholders, including Tasmanian Government, Tasports, Tasmania Police and the Hobart City Council, thanks to you. And of course, major sponsor Rolex for your continuing support. And I too, like Gordon, would like to specifically acknowledge RYCT past Commodore Tracy Matthews, our finishing coordinator, for her fantastic efforts over many months. And finally, thanks to Arthur Lane, Commodore of the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia, for your ongoing commitment to the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania as your finishing partner for this iconic event. Enjoy this afternoon's presentations. Thank you and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Commodore. His Excellency will now present the first batch of trophies from the far lectern, And we'd ask those receiving their trophies to please come up the stairs on that far side of the stadium. The first yacht due south of Tasman, it's the F&J Livingston and Replica Trophy, and second over the line, the CYC Trophy, goes to Andu Comanche. Represented by Pitman Campbell Knox, who's completed his 15th Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race. What a finish it was. Fantastic effort by Andrew Comanche. The finishing margin was 51 seconds, but how many hands has he got? Well done, Campbell. The first yacht out of Sydney Heads, the Jack Rooklyn Memorial Trophy and Cannon, and Lion Honours, the J.H. Illingworth Trophy and Replica and Cannon. Law Connect, Christian Beck. Sailing Master Tony Mutta, the champion New Zealand sailor. What a performance by Tony and Chris Nicholson and Christian Beck on Law Connect. And Tony, will get you, once you receive all those trophies, to hold fire, because there's also another special presentation for you. And with great pleasure now, I introduce the Managing Director of Rolex Australia, Mr. Benoit Folletti, to make a short welcome and also present the magnificent Rolex timepiece to the Lion Honours winner. Mr. Benoit Folletti.
Thank you. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, sailors, good afternoon. As the title sponsor, Rolex is proud to celebrate 21 years of partnership with the CYCA and the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race. It's a great honor to represent Rolex on this exceptional occasion, and I wish to warmly acknowledge the participants and also the volunteers involved with passion behind the scenes who did a truly fantastic job. Congratulations and big thank you to the two Commodores, Commodore Lane, Commodore Bevan, and their great teams for such an outstanding organization of this tough offshore race. The Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race is the jewel in the crown of sailing and is definitely one of the most iconic events in Rolex global sporting calendar. Participants in this extremely competitive 78th edition have demonstrated a great deal of physical endurance, mental resilience, and tactical judgment on top of camaraderie and skillful mindset. Congratulations to all of them, and I wish you all a very happy and healthy new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Benoit. The Watchmaster timepiece. Special moment here for Sailing Master. Come a little bit closer. Well done, Tony. And our thanks also to His Excellency, Lieutenant Governor of Tasmania. Do you need a hand? There's more to come. I now invite Commodore Richard Bevan back to present more trophies. And the first trophy for presentation is third in PHS Division 1, and it goes to MWF Kale, Making Waves Foundation, John Whitfield. And coming up to receive the trophy, we have Annie Lawrence, the navigator, Rodney Gall, James Hunter, and 2IC Phil Walker. Making Waves Foundation, John Whitfield. And 4 of the crew members, 3rd PHS Division 1. John Whitfield is the owner of the 1954 Rolex Sydney Hobart winner, Solveig. Wonderful effort by Making Waves Foundation, John Whitfield. Congratulations. 2nd PHS Division 1, the CYCA trophy goes to Mako, Paul O'Rourke. Tim Dodds competing in his 10th Rolex Sydney Hobart, 2nd in charge on the boat, and 2nd in PHS Division 1. Skippered by Paul O'Rourke. Well done, Mako! First in PHS Division 1, a very popular winner too. The Ranza Trophy and the CYCA Trophy, Oroton Drumfar. Owner Will Vickers, and represented here today by skipper Philip Neal in his 4th Rolex Sydney Hobart. The most beautiful boat in the fleet, without doubt, and meticulous 8-week preparation and planning to convert the boat from cruising to racing mode. Well done, Will Vickers and skipper Philip Neal. 2nd in 2-handed line honours, the CYCA Trophy from the Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron. Showdown, Drew Carruthers and Jim Close. Marvellous effort by the 2-handed crews and the Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron, proudly represented by Showdown, Drew Carruthers and Jimmy Close, who's also known as Mumbles. And Jimmy, a multiple round-the-world racer. First female skipper, the Jane Tate Memorial Trophy and half model, and it goes to Ocean Crusaders Jaybird, Annika Thompson. Ocean Crusaders Jaybird, electric drive powered by renewable energy. The electricity for their cooking is powered by the sun. Outstanding performance, Annika Thompson. Two-handed last year, fully crewed this year from the Whitsunday Sailing Club. 3rd Corinthian IRC, the CYC Trophy, and it goes to Calibra, Richard Williams. From the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia, the Cookson 12. And Richard was named Ocean Rookie of the Year 8 years ago for the CYCA of Australia. Well done, Richard. And Calibre. Our thanks to Commodore Bevan. I now invite the City of Hobart representative, Councillor John Kelly, to present the next round of trophies. First in Corinthian, PHS, the CYC Trophy and the York Family Trophy, and it goes to Steve Watson, Ragtime. Ragtime, a regular competitor in the Audi Centre Sydney Blue Water Point Score Series, and this boat has been a late withdrawal on a couple of occasions in previous races, but they did it this year. Well done, Steve Watson. First Corinthian PHS. Ragtime. Third in IRC Division 4, the CYCA Trophy, and a very popular man here in Tasmania, the winner of the 1998 Gale Torn Rolex Sydney Hobart, Ed Saltus, Midnight Rambler. And I think Ed also had maybe 2 or 3 members of that 1998 crew with him in this year's race, and completing his 41st Rolex Sydney Hobart. In the Sydney 36, Midnight Rambler. Second in IRC Division 4, the CYCA Trophy, and it goes to Christopher Opolok, Rockall 8. All the way from Germany, the JPK 10.8, German, British, and also Perth sailors on board. Second IRC Division 4, Rockall 8, Christopher Opolok. Second Corinthian IRC, third IRC Division 5, Kian McCarthy, Sam Hunt, Cinnamon Girl, Eden Capital. From the Kinsale Yacht Club on the southern tip of Ireland. So great to have our Irish visitors here today. And Kian's also brought his family, his wife and his 5 children. And the siblings include 3 male triplets. You've got some brownie points to make up, Kian. Sam Hunt campaigned in the 470 class at Beijing Olympics. Cinnamon Girl, Eden Capital, from the Kinsale Yacht Club in Ireland. Kian McCarthy and Sam Hunt. Third two-handed IRC, CYC Trophy. Second IRC Division 5. And it goes to Jianglin and Aymeric Bellois, Min River. This beautiful little flyer, the JPK 10.3, brand new. She competed this year in the Fastnet race. That was a very brutal race as well. And they were forced to retire in the Fastnet, but not in the Rolex Sydney Hobart. They made it all the way. Third in two-handed. Second IRC, Division 5. Jianglin, Aymeric Bellois. Third in the two-handed line honours, CYC Trophy. Second, two-handed IRC. And first in IRC Division 5. Robbie Goff, John Saul, Kraken 3. The Jeanneau Sunfast 3300. They were the first ever two-handed crew to finish in the Rolex Sydney Hobart back in 2021. They took line honours. And Rob is an absolute legend, former world windsurfing champion and former world foiling champion as well. Fantastic effort. And they took those line honours in 2021 in Sidewinder. Kraken 3. Third in IRC Division 3 from the Ocean Racing Club of Victoria. Daniel Edwards, White Noise. Daniel, the former Ocean Racing Club of Victoria Offshore Sailor of the Year. White Noise, 3rd IRC Division 3. Second in IRC Division 3, Simon Torvaldsen, Atomic Blonde. Torvaldsen. The sister ship, the Sunrise, the winner of the 2021 Fastnet race. And George Kennedy was on board, who was also on Sunrise when she won the Fastnet. Well done to Simon and Atomic Blonde, the JPK 1180, a brand new boat representing the Royal Perth Yacht Club. First in IRC Division 3, the CYC Trophy, and also the trophy for the RORC and replica, and it goes to Jason Close, Patriot. Patriot from the Sandringham Yacht Club, and Jason and Patriot finished 2nd overall in the Melbourne to Hobart last year, which was the 50th Melbourne to Hobart race. Great effort here. First IRC Division 3, representing the Sandringham Yacht Club. Patriot, Jason Close. And our thanks to Councillor John Kelly. I'll now invite the Honourable Minister Nick Street to say a few words and also to present the anniversary medallions and trophies. Minister Nick Street.
Thanks, Gordon. Can I firstly acknowledge and pay respect to the Tasmanian Aboriginal people as the traditional and original owners and continuing custodians of the land on which we gather today, and acknowledge elders past and present. Can I also acknowledge His Excellency, the Honourable Alan Blow, Lieutenant Governor of Tasmania. It's a pleasure to be here today representing both the Premier and the Government for the 78th iteration of the Rolex Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race. Congratulations to everyone involved, the captains and their crew, family and friends, sponsors, partners, media, and of course the event organisers. Once again, the Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race has delivered a spectacle for Hobart and the world to see. After 78 years, the Sydney to Hobart is still one of the world's best loved and most popular sporting attractions, with many yachts and sailors coming back year after year to take on the challenge that this incredible ocean yacht race has to offer. It's an important event on the Tasmanian summer calendar, one that we are proud of and continue to embrace every year. The cultural and economic benefits of the race to Tasmania are also significant. It not only attracts huge media coverage, which gives Tasmania increased national and international exposure, but also attracts competitors and visitors from around the world. None of this could happen without the collaboration between the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia and the finishing partner, the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania. Can I commend both clubs for the work you've put into this race and for the deep and long-lasting history you've made together. The event you deliver each year positions Hobart and Tasmania as a focal point for sailing and sport across the globe and is to be commended. Can I also thank and acknowledge the continued support of the naming rights sponsor Rolex. I recognise Benoit Folletti, General Manager of Rolex Australia, who is here with us today. Thank you very much, Benoit, for your company's continued support of this event. And to the captains and their crew, what an extraordinary effort. No matter where you finished, congratulations, you should be proud of the mental and physical effort it's taken to achieve what you have by competing in one of the toughest ocean races in the world. I've got to say, as a young adult, it was a bucket list item for me to complete the Sydney to Hobart until it was explained that I'd probably end up being on a boat that's still out there at the minute, at which point my enthusiasm for competing sort of disappeared a little bit, and I decided the couch was the best place to view this particular event. As a government, we're proud to be supporting the delivery of this event through our major events partnership program. But I've got to say that government support aside, this event can't happen without the volunteers that put so much time and effort into making this event everything that it is. With all due respect to Benoit and Rolex and to the government, there's no amount of money that we could put in that would make up for the time and effort that volunteers put into making this event everything that it is. So we thank you very much on behalf of the people of Tasmania for everything that you do to make this event so incredibly special every year. Finally, I'm here representing the Premier, who's not just the Premier, but is also the Minister for Tourism and Hospitality. So there was a specific note in the speech notes I was given to make sure that I mentioned to everybody to make sure that you get out and enjoy everything that Tasmania has to offer. If you're here as a visitor, you're visiting Hobart at the very best time of the year. Thank you very much for being here today, and it's my honour now to be presenting some medallions to some incredibly dedicated and deserving sailors.
Well spoken, Minister for Sport and Recreation and Minister for Stadia and Events. Now for the first of our anniversary medallions, and this is for 50 Rolex Sydney Hobarts. And the first gentleman, it's his 50th in a row. Lindsay May. "50 consecutive Rolex races. The first person to achieve this incredible milestone. Lindsay's first race in 1973. Lindsay, stay there. I haven't finished. This is your curtain call. So Lindsay's first race was in 1973 aboard Honour of Gosford, and he went on to become one of the finest navigators in ocean racing. He raced to Hobart 6 times with Peter Kurtz, as well as several Admiral's Cup series in England. 1984 saw him navigate Indian Pacific to the first of his 3 Tattersall Cup victories. His second was aboard the Irish yacht Atara in 1991, the same vessel in which he plucked John Quinn out of the water in 1993 after he was been washed overboard and was 5 hours in the water in Bass Strait. A remarkable feat of navigation and seamanship. Lindsay joined Brindabella in 1994 for the first of his 9 races with George Snow, including Lion Honours in 1997. This was followed in 2003 when he joined Peter and Simon Kurtz aboard the famous Love and War for 8 races, resulting in his and the yacht's 3rd win in 2006. And I think that was your favourite victory too, and your favourite race. Lindsay was a natural choice as navigator for his old Brindabella crewmate, Paddy Broughton, when Paddy purchased Kealoha 2 and raced her to Hobart on 5 occasions, completing his 50th race this year aboard Jeff Hill's Antipodes with some long-standing mates. A truly remarkable career. Well done, Lindsay. And the other 50 race medallion recipient, a huge welcome for Bruce Gould. What an achievement. Bruce competed in his first race aboard Sylph 6, which has Ollie the Cat on board, With the Lawson brothers in 1963, a feat she celebrated by competing in this year's race to mark her 60th anniversary. This was followed by joining Sir Robert Crichton-Browne for 7 races aboard Balandra and Pasha, winning the Stormlash race in 1970. In 1978, he joined David Kellett for 10 races aboard Greatle, Vengeance and Sovereign, resulting in Lion Honours in 1981 aboard Vengeance and a Lion Honours and Handicap Double aboard Sovereign in 1987. Bruce is the proud owner of Margaret Rintoul, which won the Lion Honours in the 1951 race. He sailed her in 89 and 94 before joining the crew of the Winston Churchill for the 1998 race, where he was rescued from a life raft after she sank. Bruce sailed aboard Young Endeavour as part of the communications team, achieving his 50th race. Bruce Gould, well done. And now to the 40 race medallion. Kingsley Peace. Sailing in his 40th consecutive race. He did his first race on the 65-foot freight train in 1983 and did several more races until joining Bruce Taylor aboard the various Hutzpahs since 1988. A partnership where Kingsley has gone on to sail 31 races as navigator with that team, including this, his 40th, only sailing 4 races aboard other yachts in the next 35 years. Kingsley is the quiet achiever of the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race, helping the JBW team contact yachts throughout the fleet during the race. 40 race medallion, Kingsley Peace. Now to the 25 race medallions. And first up, Jeff Beauchamp. Jeff sailing his first race aboard bobsled in 1997 and has only missed 1 race in 2011 to achieve his 35th race this year aboard Sean Langman's Moneypenny, his ride for the past 3 years and a great mate of Sean's. Jeff sailed several races aboard Brindabella and the Tifi 52 Smuggler and Patrice. His most memorable would be his win in 2006 aboard the famous Love and War with Lindsay May. Well done, Jeff Beauchamp. Our next recipient is, and I think she may have just finished, maybe only half an hour ago. Oh, she's here. Oh, that's amazing. Probably only half an hour ago. Vanessa Dudley. Vanessa has only just finished on tilting at windmills and she's made it for her medallion presentation. She even had people lined up to receive it for her. But Vanessa becomes only the 3rd woman to achieve the milestone of 25 races behind Adrian Carlin and Felicity Nelson. She sailed her first race aboard the FAR 37 Southern Cross in 1984. That was the same year that Adrian sailed her first race, and along the way has raced aboard Wedgetail 4 times, Ragamuffin with Sid Fisher on 5 occasions, and several races aboard all-female crews on Ella Bache and Ella Racing, as well as the memorable second on handicap aboard Wild Oats 10 in 2018. Racing this year aboard Tilting at Windmills for her 25th Rolex Sydney Hobart, and she's just made it, and she's here to join us. Well done, Vanessa Dudley. Our next 25 race medallion recipient, Robert Heumann. Rob is a stalwart of the South Australian offshore fleet. He sailed his first race in 1981 aboard Infrared, going on to sail various yachts before winning the first of 2 Tattersall Cup wins aboard Osmaid in 2000, followed by Two True in 2009. Robert was aboard the TP52 Smuggler in 2018 and 2019 before joining Mondo this year for his 25th race. Well done, Robert Hewman. Mondo co-skippered by Lisa Callaghan, the Commodore of the Manly Yacht Club. Our next recipient, 25 race medallion, is Albie Pratt, but Albie is not with us. He was on board Scallywag, which retired on the first night, but let me just read out his notation. Albie Pratt, a respected Sydney sailmaker, sailed his first race in 1987 aboard Sequester before joining the great Peter Kurtz on board Madeline's Daughter for 3 races and progressing then to the larger yachts News Corp and Bumblebee. In 2005, he was aboard Wild Oats 11 for the first of her double, and that was the treble in 2005, line honours, handicap, and a new race record. He also took line honours and handicap wins on Wild Oats 11. Albie repeated the line honours again on Wild Oats 11 in 2007 before his second Tattersall Cup win aboard Loki in 2011, and then another line honours victory on Perpetual Loyal in 2016. He jumped ship, sailing this year aboard the 100-footer Scallywag for his 25th race. We're with you here today, Albie. Well done, mate. Penultimate recipient is Brett Smith, 25 Rolex Sydney Hobarts. Brett competed in his 25th race last year aboard Secret Men's Business, but we were not aware. We apologise to Brett and ask him to accept the medallion today. Brett competed in his first Hobart race in 1984 aboard Mirrabooka with the great Tasmanian sailor John Bonetto, and continued to race in 1987 on various boats throughout a long ocean racing career. He was aboard Ragamuffin with Sid Fisher to take line honours in 1988. Brett then joined David Strong aboard Continental and She's Apples 2 for his next 7 races in 1989 before joining past Commodore Martin James aboard Infinity 3 for another 4 races from 2002. After a break of a few years, he joined Les Goodridge aboard Wax Lyrical for 7 consecutive races, and then finally last year he was aboard Secret Men's Business, and that was his 25th race. Well done, Brett Smith. And the last recipient is David Watson. Following in his father Bill's footsteps, local sailor David did his first race in 1994 aboard the Tasmanian yacht Sangari before joining the highly respected Hobart yachtsman John Bonetto on Mirrabooka for 5 races, followed by 4 on the Volvo 64 Merit, and then finally joining Bruce Taylor aboard Hutzpah for the last 5 races. With the amount of experience in the crew aboard Hutzpah under Bruce's direction, it's like being at a finishing school for ocean races. I think there's about 240 Rolex Sydney Hobart caps on your boat. So well done, David Watson. And now we continue with the trophies, and this is for the yacht travelling from the furthest port to compete. It's the Polish trophy and plaque, and it goes to Lenny Charles Deveneaux. Lenny representing the Californian Yacht Club, and after competing in the Transpac race, I believe, she has cruised from Diamond Head in Hawaii all the way to Sydney and now to Hobart, stopping over in New Caledonia and Fiji. Sounds like a pretty good trip to me. The yacht travelling from the furthest port to compete, Lenny Charles Deveno. The first yacht under 9.5 metres, LOA, across the finishing line. This is the Plum Crazy Trophy, and it goes to Mark Michelle and Logan Fraser Nixon, two-hander from New Zealand. Proudly representing the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron. This two-hander was sailed by these sailors from New Zealand to compete in this year's 78th edition of the Rolex Sydney Hobart. Mark Michelle, Logan Fraser, Nixon. Second Corinthian PHS, first in the Armed Services Yacht on corrected time, the Ogden Cup and plaque, and it goes to the Royal Australian Navy, Navy 1. And key members of the crew, Commander Nathan Lockhart and also Lieutenant Tori Costello. All Navy crew. The Beneteau First 40, Navy 1. And I think that's 3 in a row for the Armed Services Prize. The Navy dominating, a hat-trick. Well done, Navy 1. Third in IRC Division 2, a famous name, a famous boat, Bruce Taylor, Chutzpah. Bruce represented by one of his crew members. There were 10 people on board, including son Drew. "43rd Hobart for Bruce Taylor this year, and for son Drew, his 30th in a row, and that boat has finished twice in second place in 1990 and 2014. Congratulations, Chutzpah, from the Royal Yacht Club of Victoria. Third Corinthian PHS, second IRC Division 2, first Corinthian IRC. From the Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club, Richard Hudson, Pretty Woman. Now, this is definitely a show of strength. They've won 4 trophies, 12 crew members, including 4 female sailors, and they also won the PHS Corinthian last year, just to reinforce that outstanding effort. Richard Hudson in his 16th Rolex Sydney Hobart. Pretty Woman from the Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club. Next, the first Victorian yacht on corrected time, and the first in IRC Division 2. The Lou Abrahams Memorial Trophy, the Peter Alsop Memorial Trophy and Replica, and also the CYC trophy. And it goes to Damien King, MRV. MRV, the former Margaret Rintoul 5, for Stan Edwards, and Damien King, the new owner, a man who's campaigned at elite level in 470s, former Australian Etchells champion, and also on the podium in the World Etchells Championship. Well done, Damien King, MRV, from the Sandringham Yacht Club in Victoria. Next, first shot under 18.5 metres across the finishing line, the Apollo Trophy and half model. Third IRC Division 1 CYC Trophy. And the winner, Max Klink, Caro, representing New Zealand. Caro, the 2023 Fastnet race winner, and the award accepted by Wade Morgan, Bubsy, in his 18th Rolex Sydney Hobart. He's also been successful on Ichiban as well. So well done, Wade. Well done, Caro. Second IRC Division 1, the CYCA Trophy, and it goes to Celestial. Sam Haynes, who'll be represented by Tom Grimes. Tom, a graduate of the CYC Youth Sailing Academy, completed his second Rolex Sydney Hobart, and I think he's sailing the boat back with Dad Richard back to Sydney. Tom Grimes, Celestial. First, IRC Division 1, the George Barton Trophy and replica, the CYC Trophy, and it goes to Sebastian Bohm, Smuggler. Steve McConaughey is accepting. Steve sailing in his 24th race. What an outstanding crew, what an outstanding performance by the JV TP52 Smuggler. For Sebastian Bohm, Tim Davis on board, his 18th. Navigator David van der Vende, and Steve in his 24th Rolex Sydney Hobart, a medallion next year, Steve. Will Howard also in his 18th race. Sensational performance by Smuggler, Sebastian Bohm. And our thanks to Minister Street. I'd now like to invite Commodore Arthur Lane to say a few words on behalf of the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, Arthur Lane.
Thank you, Gordon. A sincere thank you to all of our speakers and for your acknowledgement of the Rolex Sydney Hobart's many sponsors, volunteers, yachts and crews. It has been a race for the ages and has indeed offered a bit of everything. Of note, it was one of the most diverse fleets that we've seen. There's been a record in terms of boat ownership by women, and the percentage of female participants continues to increase, which is great. Interestingly, Adrian Cullen and Alice Parker were the navigators on the top 2 place yachts on overall standings, and that's good. I do not intend repeating what has already been said, but would like to make 3 additional mentions. The first is to acknowledge the wonderful work of the race media team, as well as the many media outlets, photographers, videographers, journalists who support this race through their global coverage across the print, digital, and broadcast channels. There's a myriad of people involved behind the scenes that provide the beautiful written stories and the exquisite images that we all enjoy again and again. They provide the memories that will always be with us, and we are truly humbled by the artistic excellence, sometimes under very trying conditions. They allow the rest of the world to listen, to read, watch, and enjoy this wonderful event. Not only do they showcase this great race, but also the beauty of Australia, from the start of the Sydney Harbour, the stunning landscapes and seascapes on their trip south, and the splendour of Tasmania, and especially Hobart. Thank you so much for all you do. Secondly, I'd like to acknowledge and recognise the tireless work of the race committee and the international jurors, who give so much of their time each year to help organise and oversee the many facets of such a significant sporting event. We admire their professionalism and thank the team and support volunteers for the invaluable contribution. Finally, this was the 78th edition of the Sydney Hobart Yacht Race, and it was the 22nd anniversary of the wonderful partnership that we have shared with Rolex since 2002. Thank you so much. The race itself reflects the spirit of Rolex, and with its qualities of excellence and endurance. It is universally regarded as one of the toughest tests of seamanship, courage, determination, and skill. And you certainly needed it, and needed all of these and more to overcome the conditions that you've all encountered over the last 628 nautical miles. The Rolex Sydney Hobart also has the most stringent controls on the safety requirements for both the sailors and their yachts before entries are accepted, to ensure the fairness of this event and the safety of all that enter. All these factors have been part of the reason that I can today proudly announce that Rolex has agreed to continue its sponsorship of our great race for a further 10 years. Wow. Thank you so much, Benoit, and please give our gratitude for the faith that you and Rolex have put into us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commodore Lane. And if I can just reinforce your mention of the media team, I would specifically like to mention the Rolex media director, Di Pearson, who's been a great friend of all the sailors and has been covering this race for decades. So well done, Di Pearson. The Southern Cross Cup winner, the CYCA trophy. This is the CYCA blue team. So we'll ask representatives from each boat to come forward. So Tom Grimes, you're going to have to come down here from Celestial. Also Mistral, Rupert Henry, or Jack Boutel, either one, and URM Group, because they are the winners of the Southern Cross Cup. Celestial, Mistral, URM Group, the CYCA blue team. Anthony Johnson, owner, skipper of URM Group. Tom Grimes and Rupert Henry. Southern Cross Cup winners in 2023. And Rupert, don't go far. Halt, Rupert. Wait, please. First in IRC Division 4, the CYCA Trophy, the Sir Arthur Warner Trophy. First two-handed line honours, the CYCA Trophy. First small boat across the line, the Battery Point Trophy and half model. And first in the two-handed IRC, the CYCA Trophy and the two-handed IRC Trophy. Mistral, Rupert Henry and Jack Boutel. Amazing performance by the little 34-footer. And this world-class sailor, Rupert Henry, accompanied by his good mate, Jack Boutel. It was Greg O'Shea and Rupert last year as the overall winners in the two-handed class, and Mistral has done it again. Well done, Rupert. Rated by Peter Shipway in commentary yesterday as his outstanding performance of the whole race. Third IRC Division 0, the CYC Trophy. Third IRC overall, the RYCT Trophy and Replica, and the Storm Bay Cup and Replica. And it goes to Sean Langman and Moneypenny. And Sean's great mate, Jeff Beauchamp, who's received his 25th medallion a little earlier, will be accepting on behalf of Sean Langman. Moneypenny was the Audi Centre Sydney Blue Water point score champion last year, but has been dethroned in 2023. Well done, Jeff Beauchamp. Sean Langman, Moneypenny. Third over the line, the CYC Trophy. Second IRC Division 0, again the CYC Trophy. Second on IRC overall, the City of Hobart Trophy and Replica, the Bass Strait Cup and Replica, the Solo Trophy and Replica, and the CYCA Trophy. That's 6 trophies in all. And it goes to Anthony and David Johnson, URM Group. And I can also tell you that they are the new Audi Centre Sydney Blue Water point score champions in 2023. URM Group has been a dominant boat, the Reichel Pugh 72. They won all of the CYC's offshore events this year, barring the Toll Islands race. And they've been pipped by Alive for the big prize in that dramatic finish. There's a lot of trophies there, for Anthony Johnson. His 4 brothers are on board, and I believe the 5th brother, Nigel, is joining you next year. Thumbs up? No, don't give me a thumbs up. I'm now announcing a Meritorious Service Award, and it goes to the Young Endeavour. The sail training ship Young Endeavour is operated by the Royal Australian Navy and provides young Australians a learning and development opportunity in a tall ship. Young Endeavour has made a significant contribution to our great race, serving as the alternative radio relay vessel in 20 Sydney-Hobart yacht races since it began service in 1988. She is generally with us every other year, and one of the captains has done 7 of those races. Generously hosting a small radio team from the CYCA, Young Endeavour usually positions herself towards the back of the fleet, providing additional radio coverage and experiencing the same sea and weather conditions as many of our competitors. Beyond making a wonderful contribution to race management and the Sydney-Hobart yacht race overall, Young Endeavour provides that warmth and additional level of comfort to the fleet that comes from a professional at-sea presence. I would like to invite her captain, Lieutenant Commander Libby Newman, to accept this Meritorious Services recognition of the generous, professional and enduring contribution that Young Endeavour has made to our race. Please come forward, Lieutenant Commander Libby Newman. Congratulations, Libby. And other Young Endeavour crew in the audience include Bruce Gould, Tim Cox, previous chair of the race committee, David Jordan, also a previous chair of the race committee, and thank you to Commodore Lane for acknowledging that wonderful effort by Young Endeavour. And also Bob Williams, Sil 6, Ollie, Chris Warren. They're still off the northeast coast of Tasmania. Bob was actually the skipper of Young Endeavour back in the mid-90s for 2 races. So a wonderful contribution by Young Endeavour. I'd now like to announce the trophies for the winning yacht on handicap. And the first is the designer of the winning yacht. It's the Alan Payne Memorial Trophy and Replica, and it's going to go to Alive, the Reichel Pugh design, and accepting is Kate Hines. Kate is the project manager for Alive, and they have won the designer of the winning yacht. Stay with us, Kate, because I think we have another couple of trophies here for you. The navigator of the first Tasmanian yacht on corrected time, the City of Hobart Trophy and Plaque, and the navigator of the winning yacht, the Bill Owen Memorial Trophy and Replica, and it goes to Adrian Carlin in her 31st Sydney Hobart. And Kate again accepts on behalf of the great Adrian Carlin. And now first Tasmanian Yacht IRC, the Tasports Trophy. The first IRC Division 0, the Rushcutter Trophy and Replica. First IRC overall, the CYCA Trophy, the George Adams Tattersall Cup, the RORC Plaque and Replica, and the Government of Tasmania Trophy and Replica. And it goes to Alive, Philip Turner, skipper Duncan Hine. Owner Philip Turner is watching the live stream in Thailand. And another fantastic effort here by Alive. And as has been mentioned many times, it's the 75th anniversary of Westwood's win, its second win, Alive becoming the second Tasmanian boat to win 2 races overall. Very excited Tasmanian crew, skippered by the brilliant Duncan Hine. Alive has done it again. Duncan, I know you hate public speaking. Do you want to say a few words?
Try and keep it brief. I also would like to say thank you to Rolex for putting this on, sponsoring this event, but also to the 2 yacht clubs, the CYCA and the Royal Tasmanian Yacht Squadron, Yacht Club here in Tassie. You can see I am nervous. I'd also like to make special thanks to my wife, because I didn't actually thank her for her contribution, which is a massive effort all throughout the year. I want to make a quick thank you also to Philip. Without Philip, this wouldn't have happened for us. I've also got to thank Darren here, as he put together a brilliant crew for this race and all the other races that we've done this year. And I'd like to thank Matt for his tireless effort in working and maintaining on the boat. There's so many people, of course, you would thank, but yeah, really, all the competitors, everyone that gets up and actually has a go at this should feel happy with their own efforts and things like that. Without competitors, this wouldn't happen. So I'd like to thank everyone in that aspect. I did think of other things I was going to say, but I've forgotten. Anyway, thank you.
Duncan, I think you covered all bases. Well done. I'd now like to invite Benoit Folletti to present the Rolex Yachtmaster timepiece to the overall winner. First IRC overall, a second victory backing up the effort in 2018, Philip Turner and Duncan Hine alive. Representing the Derwent Sailing Squadron. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll agree it's been an astonishing race. The line honours finish with those two 100-footers. And then we came down to the handicap battle with URM Group seemingly in the box seat, but alive, finding a way to come through. And then that stunning effort by all the two-handers, but particularly Rupert Henry and Jack Butel. But it was 103 yachts that started. It was intense. At times it was torrid, but it certainly was a full-blown test of human endeavour. We salute all the sailors, and courtesy now of Rolex, we can reflect on what has been one of the greatest races in the 78th edition of the Rolex Sydney Hobart. Well, that brought a tear to my eye, I've got to say, very emotional. But huge thanks to Rolex for that magnificent footage and really summing up what this 78th edition was all about. There are still, I think, about 10 yachts to finish, and Jessica Watson, the round-the-world solo champion, is about to finish, so make sure you get down to the docks to give her a terrific reception. And the Rolex hostesses have told me to point out that any crew members, if you haven't received your Rolex shirt, you can receive them from the Rolex Lounge up until 6 o'clock tonight and between 9 and 3 tomorrow. They are a beautiful piece of work, a great replica, a great memento. But now, everyone, I would ask you to please stand for the departure of His Excellency, the Lieutenant Governor, and the official party. And what fantastic news to hear that Rolex is sponsoring for another 10 years. So thank you all. Let's hope those remaining yachts make it safely, including Ollie, in a few days' time. But please go down to the harbour front and the race village and enjoy what still remains today. So thank you very much. All the best. Yeah. Another one down. Another one down. Yeah, thank you.